Good morning and welcome to the Oasis Center for Spiritual Living, where we come together as one, providing spiritual tools for daily living. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Reverend Tucker. I'm the senior minister here at the Oasis, and I always like to introduce this wonderful team that God has provided for me. First of all is my faithful assistant, Faith. She does all the work behind the scenes. We didn't have her last week, and boy, I was working a lot. Luckily, I wasn't trying to speak because I can't multitask when I'm speaking because I get so distracted. So luckily, Reverend Catherine was speaking last week and it went over okay. But Faith's basically been my assistant since the day she was born. Her dad used to work the soundboard, and he would hold her in one arm, and work the soundboard in the other. And then when she was old enough to crawl, she crawled right up on stage as if she owned the place. And so we left her up there. She would just crawl around while I was talking. And then when we would do announcements, I would sit her on the podium, and I think people paid more attention to the announcements. But she grew up 6 blocks away from my house, which meant when her dad, he was a tow truck driver. And so when he was on out-of-town tows, he would drop the girls off at my place. And I always had projects. I'm a project person. And so I put the girls to work, and I got a chance to see what Faith could do. So when she wanted a real job at 14 and a half, I said, yeah, come work for me. So I hired her for my ozone business. And then when we went live for the pandemic online, I asked her if she wanted to be my ministerial assistant, and she, of course, agreed to it. Pretty much anything I ask her to do, she jumps up and does, like even songs, like also Catherine Knox. And so, like I'll ask Tina to do a song and she'll say, oh no, that's a male voice. I can't do that. But Faith will always do her best to accommodate it, whatever it is. And so we so appreciate that. She is the one that says, that answers you when you say hi, good morning, hello. She answers as me. And very rarely have I had to go back and ask, answer any questions, because Faith and I seem to have one mind. Imagine that, one mind. But anyway, so she knows me better than I know myself. And she's also our soloist. So I also want to acknowledge that, because she stepped up when Tina needed to take some time. So thank you for being here. I love you. All right. And then there is my partner in crime, the wise and powerful Oz. He has been with me since 1998, basically. Is he not there?
I'm here.
Oh, boy, you blend in with all the stuff there. It was just my
eyes. Either that or this.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I don't know. That's funny. All I saw was is that a blanket? I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
I saw the stripes, but I couldn't see the person. Anyway, he was my first baby practitioner, meaning that he took all of his classwork with me. And then he licensed under me. And then he was my board president for many, many years. And when he decided to move to Florida, we lost the opportunity to have him be our practitioner of the day. So that is how he's serving today. That means that he's going to do the invocation, the benediction, and be available at the end for a 1-minute miracle, which I'll talk about a little bit more later. But thank you, Oz, for being here. I love you. We didn't have Oz last week either, so it was a challenge. It was fun, but it was a challenge. And luckily, like I said, I didn't have to speak. I just had to do Oz's job, Faith's job, and not my job. Well, sort of my job, but anyway. All right. I also like to acknowledge our adjunct music team. As I said, Albertina Giuffre is one of our singers. We know her as Tina, and we have actually asked her to be here for 3 weeks in December, and she graciously accepted. So next month, we're going to have 3 weeks of Tina singing. I know Faith needs a break every now and then. And so, and I'm really glad to know that Faith has her voice back, because she had laryngitis all week. So I'm really glad you have your voice back. Also, Karen Drucker and Reverend Fairy Elaine Silver. They don't appear on camera, but they have provided us with music so that we can do a full church service on Sunday. So I really appreciate that. Anytime we try to do contemporary music, either Facebook mutes it or YouTube mutes it. So this way we have their approval. their authorization to use their music in. So we are able to have a full Sunday service because of them. So I like to acknowledge them because they really helped us out. Today is the third week of Month of Gratitude. It's Thanksgiving coming up. So I'll be talking a little bit more about that. Last week we had Reverend Catherine speaking. Next week we're going to have Reverend Marilyn Earhart. So my besties are filling in December or in November, so that you're not just listening to me say the same things over and over and over again for 4 weeks. So it's always nice to get a different perspective on any topic, let alone gratitude. So if you are here, please say hi, hello, good morning, however you like to greet us. When we're in a facility, I can look out and see the faces shining back at me. Here I get a number. I don't even get names. So please do that. And if you are stopping by later, please just drop a line, say hello. Let me know that you were here. I really appreciate that. There is a watch party button for you to invite your friends so they can see what kind of Sunday service they can expect. And it's a great way for you to talk amongst yourselves because you can't bother anybody. It's a private chat. So click on that watch party button and invite your friends. And I hope they will enjoy themselves here. All right. I'd like to invite you to close your eyes if that feels comfortable. Allow the service to uplift and inspire you as we move into our centering song.
Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place.
The presence of God is always right here, right now. For if God is all there is, infinite and eternal, God must be right here, right now. And there is no place that God is not. There is no place that can be where God is not. For God penetrates and permeates the universe from an intimate scale to an infinite scale. And God is who and what each of us are. We are God seeing the expression of God all around us. And I know that there's a blessing that is involved in this. I know the blessings are infinite and eternal, and they are right here, right now, for this is where God is. I give thanks to be part of this whole creation, knowing that it is good and very good. I let it be, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Oz. All right. This next song is one of Reverend Fairy Elaine Silver's. When she was in practitioner training, she created this song specifically for our churches. And so we are all one.
We are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it. I hear it and know it, my being. Spirit is all I am seeing. surrender to infinite light, knowing the love that's surrounding me is within me by day and night. And we are all one, we are all one, we are all one in it. Yes, we are all one, we are all one, we are all one in it.
So we've been doing, this is our third week of gratitude. We've been doing a month of gratitude, and this is our third week. And I'm going to do a quick recap because there are some people that haven't been here every Sunday, and there are others who stop by that don't watch it in real time that may or may not have seen it. First of all, I started out with saying that blessing and gratitude are pretty much the same thing. And the bumper sticker I saw a few years ago said, bless everything, no exclusions. So that, can be rough. If you're blessing everything without any exclusions, that means you're blessing some of the hard things in life as well. So my husband, Lynn, fell on Thursday night and broke his hip and had surgery on Friday. And so I have had to bless the whole experience. It's been interesting. He's doing quite well. He's one of the most prayed on people on the face of the planet. When he had his lung transplant, we had over 100 people praying for him. We had people putting him on prayer lists, and I was getting comments from people that I didn't even know. This time around, I just threw it up on Facebook, and we had 45 people that responded. So I feel like his going through the surgery as well as he did probably had a lot to do with all those people praying. For instance, the surgeon called me and said, he's a very skinny man. And I said, yes, he is. And he said, that really was fortunate in this case because the incision didn't have to be bigger because there wasn't muscle and tissue to cut through. I could get straight to the bone. And so the incisions are a lot smaller, and the surgery was a lot shorter and easier because of that. So all this time that I've been harping at him to gain weight, turns out it was a blessing, right? And so yesterday they tried to get him up walking because the more he walks, the better it is. They want you up walking right away because they don't want to, they don't want you to get stiffen up. And so what they did is they put in a gamma nail, which basically is a rod through the hip into the femur. And so he was in too much pain yesterday to walk. So hopefully they'll get him up walking today. But I appreciate all the prayers of everybody, and I try to keep everybody updated as best I can. But the blessing in all of this is that, first of all, he has his entire life, he's got this genetic defect where his tendons on that left leg, his tendons on that leg seize up. And when they do, his hip goes out of place and his leg turns out. And he's like that for 2 or 3 weeks. And so when I talked to the surgeon, I explained all of that. And he said, oh, well, he won't be able to do that now. The tendons will still seize up, but the hip will not be able to be pulled out because the way we put it in, it's kind of like, it looks like this. And so the hip can never go out of place again. So there's another blessing, right? And so all of it for me has been a blessing, and I'm very grateful for all of it. Am I happy that he's in the hospital and going to go to rehab? No. But I do feel grateful for the process. So my good friend, Dr. Edward Villon, says, what a good time to practice when you are already feeling gratitude. And what a good time, I wish I could do his accent. And what a good time to practice when you aren't. I love Edward. I could listen to Dr. Edward forever. He's a Dutch man from South Africa, and his accent is just so perfect. I just love his accent. Sometimes I wish I was in his congregation so I could listen to him every week, but alas, that's not to happen. He's always been very supportive of me. Okay, so what I talked about that first week is that we are practicing gratitude. And there are 3 stages. The first stage is giving thanks for that which you've already seen in your world and that which you have already received. So be grateful for anything and everything that is in the world. For instance, when we sit around on Thanksgiving, well, used to be, we don't get together for Thanksgiving anymore, but when we used to get together for Thanksgiving, we, like a lot of families, would go around the table and say one thing that we were grateful for. And it was usually a person or a place or some experience. And that's, our business or money that we've received, that's giving thanks for that which we have already seen. The second form of gratitude, or the second stage of gratitude, I should say, is to give thanks for that which we've already created in the mind of God, but we have not yet seen in the physical realm. I talked a little bit about the idea that when you go to a psychic, for example, and you get a reading, what they're seeing is that which you have created in the mind of God that is going to come to fruition in a certain way, right? It's a little like if I throw a ball and I throw it towards a window, we all know that it's going to hit that window. That the trajectory says that's what's going to happen unless I reach up and intercept it. So when psychics tell you that this is going to happen, what's basically happened is they are seeing that which you have created already in the subjective mind of God. And so they're seeing that trajectory. They're seeing what could happen. And I have to do a caveat here because we don't want to get caught up in this is what they said is going to happen, so that by God is what's going to happen, because we have free will. And our subjective mind steps in and changes our mind a lot. So I always say, when I go to a psychic, usually what I'm doing, a tarot reader or a psychic, usually what I'm asking is what's in the way of me creating what I want. And they're very accurate with that usually. But I also always ask, so what do you see about in the future about this? And I know full well that it's not going to be, I can't take it to the bank, right? But I want to see what I've already created. And so they're very good at telling me that. But I know that in any given moment, I can change my mind and then it's not going to happen that way. So I do that with that little caveat. But giving thanks or being in gratitude, the feeling of gratitude is so important because we are made in the image of and likeness of God, meaning we are made of God's stuff. Quantum physics backs us up on that and says that there's an intelligence in the world that knows how to create from itself, from all the molecules, all of the parts and pieces are there already. And the universe just knows how to put those together to create human beings or this desk or whatever. And it's all how the molecules bump up against each other. If it's really fast, you create a desk. If it's slower, you create us. If it's really slow, you create water or air. And so since we are made in the image and likeness of God, we have a creative ability to create the world that we want. And so anytime that we set an intention for what we wish to create, the universe or God's answer is always yes, right? And so it goes around behind the scenes creating what it is we want. Now, here's the thing. Like I said, we have free will. And we have like 400 thoughts a minute. And so what we want to be thankful for, actually, is that there's a filter. Not every thought is created. We wouldn't want to say, like, I'm really famous for, I want that. No, I don't. Yes, I do. No, I don't. Can you imagine the world if every thought was created? It's here, it's gone. It's here, it's gone. There wouldn't be any permanency in the world, and we wouldn't be able to get a grasp on reality. So it is the preponderance of our thoughts that are creative. And so if our thoughts, as Dr. Ernest Holmes, our founder, says, we create more of that which we focus on. So if our thoughts are geared towards, war and hatred and politics and all of those things, we're going to create a world that we're not as happy about, right? I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but if I get frustrated with someone, and I get into the feeling of that frustration, then all throughout the day, someone else, everybody actually, frustrates me. But if I can catch myself in that moment of feeling that emotion and be able to say, no, I'm grateful that this person pointed this out to me, so I have an opportunity to work on this, to remind me to be grateful. If I do that, then my day goes really smoothly and everybody else is not frustrating me. And so that's really the way I like to live my life. But gratitude has a magnetic attraction. So if I'm grateful for those things that I have not yet seen, that I've created in the mind of God, but it hasn't shown up in my reality yet, it's like a magnet pulling those things into us. Remember when you were in school, I'm sure, well, I don't know if they do that anymore, but they used to give us a magnet with metal shavings. And you would hold the magnet up here and the metal shavings would jump up to the magnet. And so it was a really good representation of how a magnetic force is unstoppable, pretty much. I mean, you can put things in the middle, like you slide a piece of paper in there and the shavings fall. They also showed us that. But without that impediment, there's nothing that can stop that magnetic attraction. So when we're focused on feeling gratitude, we have our thoughts focused on what we want to achieve. We have our feelings focused on the gratitude. When we're in that space, there is a magnetic attraction that cannot be stopped. And so I think that it is important not only to be grateful for those things that we've already seen, but to be grateful for those things that are yet unseen, as a way of attracting to us that greater reality that we all want to experience. Because no matter how perfect your life is, you always seem to want more of something, right? And it doesn't matter whether we're talking about money, prosperity, health, wellness, love. Feeling loved is very important to us. And in order to feel that love, we have to be in love with ourselves, right? And the way to feeling in love with ourselves is feeling that gratitude for who we are. All of us. I mean, like the whole part of us, the whole system of us. There's no part of me that I can look at and say I'm not grateful for. Because even if it's a negative aspect, I'm grateful for the fact that it shows me where I need to improve, right? And so I practice gratitude on a daily basis. And that's what some of you have been doing. And I really appreciate that. I have not been as good at doing it, but I do look at yours and it makes me accountable, because when I look at yours, I have to stop and think, what am I grateful for? So I really appreciate those of you who have been following along and doing that. It's also great to see what other people are grateful for, because it reminds me that there's some things that I may not have been thinking about that I'm grateful for, right? And so it's really wonderful that we've been doing that practice. We're about 16 days in now. So I'm really excited because this whole month of gratitude is so perfect. When we say thank you at Thanksgiving, this is what I'm grateful for. It's one day out of the year. And I personally think we should practice gratitude all year long. But I figure if I focus our attention on gratitude for an entire month, it is a good reminder for us to do that. Now, last week, Reverend Catherine, talked about being grateful for yourself. And I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, I can look at all those negative attributes and still be able to say I'm grateful, right? But you need to be grateful for your entire being. And that's physical body, that's emotional, that's mental, spiritual. I'm grateful for my soul. Without my soul, my life would be nothing, right? I would have a body with no soul. And so I'm really grateful for that. I'm grateful for my physical body. There are limitations. I work on those limitations, but I'm grateful for my body because what a miracle this body is, right? So as she was talking about that, I was starting to think about how often we look in the mirror and say things to ourselves like, oh God, those eyebrows are just horrid. Or maybe you don't like your eye color, or maybe maybe there's too many wrinkles or whatever. Instead of being grateful for the fact that we exist, that we have a physical body, that this miracle of a physical body is something we can experience the world in. So anyway, the third stage of gratitude is giving gratitude because it's our nature. Because we are made of God's stuff, we have the opportunity to express gratitude. It just comes from us. We don't have to focus on it anymore because we've already done all the work as far as, practicing our spiritual practice of gratitude. If you do it enough, it just begins to be natural. And the reason that I talk so much about being made of God's stuff is that the vibration that God vibrates at, the frequency that God vibrates at, is one of prosperity, of love, of health, of well-being. And so if we tune ourselves to that vibration by implementing that feeling of gratitude over and over and over again, we begin to allow ourselves to then just experience gratitude randomly. I remember sitting when Lynn had his surgery. I remember sitting on the front porch, and my neighbor across the street had some very significant issues, some blood clots and all kinds of stuff. And so the other neighbor across the street was in his yard and said, "Hey, is there anything I can do to help?" And he's like, "No, thanks, I'm good." "Well, you just let me know if there's anything I can help with." And I had an overwhelming sense of gratitude that our neighbors reach out to each other and really want to help. So that same neighbor that has all the blood clots and everything was going through, multiple surgeries at the time. They put a screen in so no more blood clots could get into his lungs or his heart. They put a screen in his leg. And then he was just about to have that screen removed. And he says to me, "I understand that you want to put up a plastic thing to keep when Lynn comes home, to keep the pet dander and the bird fluff out of the room." And he said, "When you get ready to do that, you let me know. I'm going to come over and help you." And again, I had this overwhelming sense of gratitude for that. It wasn't like I had to think about, I'm grateful for this person. It just came up from within me and just encompassed me, enveloped me. And I think that's what I'm talking about when I say that giving gratitude or feeling grateful is our nature. Because when we have those random experiences and gratitude just jumps up and takes us over, then that means that we're actually in that vibration. We are living in that vibration. I'm really famous for quoting Abraham Hicks, who is a channeled entity. And he talks about being in the vortex. And being in the vortex is about, when you're in a hurricane, there's the eye of the hurricane, and it's circling all around you. But in the eye of the hurricane is very, very calm, and everything is quiet. And it's just a very comforting feeling to be in. Well, being in the vortex is kind of like that. Being in the vortex is where everything is coming for us that we have wanted and created. And as long as we stay in the vortex, everything works our way. It's when we jump out of the vortex and start thinking again about war and politics and all of that stuff that we've left the vortex, and then everything that's been created is just holding. It's in a holding pattern until we put ourselves back into that vortex where we are feeling that sense of gratitude. We're feeling that sense of being blessed. We're feeling that sense of loving and being in the world. As I've always said, we are agents of God's love here on earth. And it's really easy to let God's love flow through us when we raise our vibration to that place. It's a lot harder to be an agent of that love when our vibration is low. And so I feel like that is really what we are supposed to be doing here on this earth, is to raise our vibration to the point that we are experiencing as God experiences love and peace and wellness and prosperity. And so as we continue to practice our gratitude for the next couple of weeks, mainly what I want us to focus our attention on is the feeling of gratitude. Not so much, I mean, yes, we're doing the spiritual practice of the 30 days, listing it on Facebook, what we're grateful for. And yes, we're doing the gratitude first thing in the morning. I hope everybody bought that CD from Karen Drucker. I'm grateful for the Stay Spirit. Well, it's the Songs of Spirit too, but that you're using that song every morning. Or you could do what Reverend Dr. Marjorie used to do, and throw your feet over the side of the bed and say, praise God, this is the day that God has made. However you want to do that, but you want to get yourself in that state of gratitude first thing in the morning. And then take your gratitude breaks during the day. Have it on your phone that reminds you to be grateful for life or for something. And then, of course, at night, we're doing our journal, right? Our gratitude journal, listing 10 things that we're grateful for right before we turn off the light and go to sleep. Because then our subjective mind can create, because our conscious mind is kind of out of the way during sleep, and the subjective mind can create. And because we've instilled that feeling of gratitude, it is happy to create for us. And so when we wake up in the morning, then we have that same feeling, right? So that's the process we've been in, but also because Thanksgiving is coming, I want us to be focused on gratitude for the people in our lives. I get more and more grateful every day. My brother, Pachi, has been, since my sister died, my brother has been pretty much at my side. He's been my wingman. And he's very concerned about Lynn. And Lynn said, why does he care so much about me? And I said, I think that it's because there's not many of us around anymore. And so the people that are in our lives, we in our family are bound together, sort of. And we want to care for those relationships because we feel gratitude for them being in our lives. And so Pachi's been calling me every day, sometimes twice a day, and asking about Lynn, and he wants to go visit him when he goes into rehab. So I think part of that is that we are grateful for the family that we have left. And so we are in that state of feeling gratitude for the other people. And that, when you get together on Thanksgiving, that's really what it's about, is being grateful for the family that is there, that is still in your corner, that is still there for you. People come and go in friendships and in relationships, but your family's always there. They may not show up exactly like you want them to, but they're always there. And so it's good to be grateful for that. I like to practice gratitude as I'm eating the ham. I don't do turkey because I gag on turkey. The one thing I cannot be grateful for is the animal, because if I think about the animal, I can't eat. But I am grateful for the creative process that created a ham for me to eat. I'm grateful for the process of, because we do candied yams. I'm going to do Lynn's candied yam recipe this year. All his life, he's protected that recipe and would never tell people what it was. And last year, my nephew Brendan said, I'm trying to make your candied yam recipe. Can I please have it? And he finally gave it to him. So I have it in my computer because I had to type it up for him. And so luckily he did that. So I can make candied yams because he'll be in rehab by then. And we already paid for a ham. So I'm going to go pick up the ham. It's a huge ham. And so I instead of sitting there and eating it by myself, I'm going to take some slices of ham to him and his candied yams that he makes. And we're going to celebrate Thanksgiving that way. And so I'm grateful that we're going to have that opportunity to do that. I'm grateful that there is a ham that's already paid for. And I'm grateful that I have the recipe. And so it's those things that we have to remember when we're eating the candied yams. Think about, somebody had to plant those yams. The sun and the water nourished those yams, and then they pop up out of the earth. They're a root vegetable. They pop up out of the earth, and then all the ingredients that go in it, there's pineapple, there's all kinds of stuff that goes in it. And I'm so grateful for that. And so as I'm eating those candied yams, I start to think about all the people that planted, all the people that harvested, how it got to the grocery store, all the components, and that I now bought all those ingredients and I have a recipe that I can do. And so as I'm eating those candied yams, that's what I'm going to be focused on. So I encourage you to do the same thing. It's called conscious eating. And I encourage you to do the same thing when you're having this Thanksgiving dinner, because all of the elements that came together to provide you this luscious meal that you're going to have took time, energy, and creativity. Let's just put it that way. And so as you come together on Thanksgiving, be grateful for not only the people that are there, but the food that you've actually eaten. It's more than just a prayer of gratitude. Like a lot of families start out, we thank you, Father, for this food. It's more than that. It's more of a feeling of just feeling blessed that you have this opportunity to have this great meal. And the reason you do is because of all the things that it took to get that meal to the table. And that right there is an excellent example of practicing that third stage of gratitude, because it is in our nature to be grateful. And when we recognize the things that we have to be grateful for, we're actually, without, pre-planning it, I'm saying, when we just have those spontaneous feelings of gratitude for these things, it puts us in the position of being able to attract to us more of that to be grateful for. So this Thanksgiving, will you practice that with me? Will you keep your focus on how grateful you are for the people and for the food that is now on your plate? And for the opportunity to get together, because many families can't. We can't get together with our family, and probably never will. Will you do that with me this week? Before I go to prayer, I want to acknowledge the passing of Reverend Millie Forsberg, who you've seen here. She did my nephew's wedding because I couldn't. I can't be around people. So because of Lynn's transplant, he's on anti-rejection drugs. So I couldn't do it. So she stepped up and did it. She basically did my sister's memorial. I did the obituary basically. And not the obituary. I did the other one. I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, but she did everything else. And so, and then she spoke for us in August when I was at my 50-year high school reunion. Millie's passing is one of those hard things that you need to be grateful about. I'm grateful that I had her in my life. I'm grateful that she showed up in ways that I couldn't even fathom. She got a diagnosis of lymphoma about a month before my sister's memorial, and I didn't know that until she shared that she got a bad diagnosis or a negative diagnosis when she was speaking in August. And I asked her about it, and she told me. And I said, oh my gosh, I would have never asked you to do the memorial if I'd known. And she said, no, it was fine. We have to keep living while we're still alive, right? So I, in this moment, want to express the gratitude for having Millie in my life. She was a blessing in a lot of ways. And I'm sorry she's gone. Peace to your family. All right, let's have a prayer. I now turn my awareness to the infinite power, the infinite presence, the infinite life of God. To that place within me that knows beyond human understanding just how powerful, wonderful, amazing God is. That is where I find myself, in the midst of God, my very essence, my very life, my very being. It is who and what I am. And every thought, every action, every deed is guided and led by that ancient wisdom of the ages that flows through all of us. I know the same truth to be so for the team that God has provided me, for Lynn and for Faith and for Tina and for Oz and for Catherine and for Elaine and for Karen and for Marilyn and for Millie and Tina. I don't know if I said Tina. For this team provided me by God is guided and led by that same ancient wisdom of the ages that flows through us all. And so in this moment of perfect clarity, I do know that that is the same for all people who are listening. In fact, all people. For we are one. There is no place where one leaves off and the other begins. And that same ancient wisdom of the ages is that which leads us and guides us to that perfect place of knowing. Mitaku Yasin, all my brethren, we are all related. So I bless this coming week. I know that there are so many opportunities for gratitude to jump up and say howdy. Because that feeling of gratitude overwhelms us when we are open to it, when we stay open to it. And so this week, as we practice that, as we practice the love and the gratitude, we remain in that feeling of gratitude the entire week. More particularly on Thanksgiving Day, when we have so much to pray for. I know the same truth to be so for every name that is in the ministry, because I do know that whatever people are experiencing, God is the answer. God is the underlying cause of perfection in our lives. God is the absolute certainty that all is well. And so right now, I pull back the veil and reveal this truth in this situation. I claim that good as good and very good in each person's name. Because we are blessed. And so I give such thanksgiving for this awareness. My heart fills with gratitude to know that this is so, to be of service in this way. And so I just let it be. So it is. Amen.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful. 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 Gratitude before me. Gratitude behind me. Gratitude to the left of me. Gratitude to the right of me. Gratitude above me. And gratitude below me. Gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, 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 I'm so grateful. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, and gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, 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 oh, grateful, oh, grateful.
I'm so grateful for you, Faith. I just want you to know that. All right. This is our opportunity to receive your gifts, tithes, and offerings, and your opportunity to express your gratitude and feel that gratitude for that which you have already received and that which you have created in the mind of God but may not have already seen it. In a minute, I'm going to ask you to go to www.oasiscsl.org, and about 2/3 down the page, say the offering affirmation with me. Underneath that is the Contribute Now button. So I want to talk a little bit about contribution real quick before we go there. What you're contributing to is not a rent or utilities, because we're not in a facility. You're contributing to our ability to manifest our vision and our mission. Our vision is a healed world, and that means globally, not just a few countries, but all the world. We right now have people from the Netherlands or Holland, the UK or England, Germany, the Philippines, India. And so we're grateful for those people, but we'd like to be global. We'd like to see a healed world entirely. And our mission to get there is to heal the world one person at a time. So we feel that by delivering God's message every week, that's what we're doing. So it takes money, unfortunately, to market to the world. And so that's what you are contributing to. And for the support to get this up and running, like we have to pay for the software, and, there are costs involved in this. So that's what you're contributing to. And so we bless everything that you give. And we ask you, and especially because the end of the year is coming, we want to make sure that you get your year-end giving in. So that's what you're contributing to. So go with me now to www.oasiscsl.org, whether you're watching this in real time or you're here later. And about 2/3 down the page, please say this offering affirmation with me. This perfect gift is spirit and form, circulating and blessing all it touches. Freely I give and joyously I receive, and so it is. Hit that Contribute Now button and help us reach our vision through our mission. Thank you. All right. We have this wonderful team of licensed practitioners from coast to coast that perform three functions. The first of which is if you have a prayer request, you just put it in the comments, and we'll make sure. We call them the God Squad. They're the healing arm of the church, and we call them the God Squad because I love the image of the God Squad. It's a powerful image. I don't know why. We've been calling them that for 20 years. And the thing is that if you have a prayer request, you can put it in the comment section. They will pray every day on those requests for a week. That's this loving service that they provide. And then the second thing that they do is that they are available by appointment for a fee for spiritual guidance. And so you go to our website, check them out, get on Facebook and contact them and let them know that you would like a session for spiritual guidance, and they will tell you how you can pay for it. We don't get involved in that. Every practitioner has their own business. So some use Venmo, some use Cash App, some use Wise, some use PayPal, some use Zelle. We don't get involved in that. They will let you know how to do that. And then they will reach out by video chat at your appointed time. And then the third one is what I talked about earlier, which is the practitioner of the day. And that is Oz today, most of the time. And he does our invocations, our benedictions, and he's available at the end for our 1-minute miracle. And that's not a time for counseling, but it is a time where you can share whatever challenge you're experiencing, and he will stop, drop, and pray right then and there. So reach out to him by video chat. If he doesn't answer right away, he's probably with someone else, and try back a little bit later. But it is in great gratitude that I acknowledge all of this, because the practitioner, I couldn't do this without the practitioners. I couldn't do this without Faith. I couldn't do this without Reverend Ferry Elaine Silver. I couldn't do this without Karen Drucker. So I really like to acknowledge the gratitude that I feel for all of these people in my life. All right. I'm also grateful for Brooks and Bailey, because I use my mala beads all the time. Now, these are amethyst. They are $60, but they have all kinds of mala beads that are $30 and up, depending on the gemstone. That's the necklaces, and they have bracelets, which are less. I don't know the price of the bracelets, but I like to use them for affirmations, because I always say do your affirmations 100 times a day, not because there's some magic to it, but because the more you repeat something, the deeper the grooves in the brain are, the quicker the synapses fire, the more you can create a reality, right? The more powerful it is. So what the Hindus and Buddhists do is they take one bead and they move it and they say their chants. I say do your affirmations that way. And again, there's 108 beads on a necklace, and then there's 54 in each bracelet, so you would do it twice. But affirmations are so important to do. So this is how you reach them is brooksandbailey0307@gmail.com, or their Facebook page. And all of the proceeds benefit the Rocky Mountain Lab Rescue, which is definitely a worthy cause. I try to share if they're going to be in an event and have a table, or like they just put their stuff in this store recently that I shared. I'd like to share that on my Facebook so that everybody has an opportunity to go down and feel and see what they have created. Then again, let's see here. Let's have Faith next.
And please check out my metaphysical shop. The website no longer works. However, you still can order through Instagram and Facebook by DMing us at the Mystic Brew 303. Facebook has the prices, but we have intention jars as well as kits to make them yourself, and bath salts that all have different herbs and essential oils to help bring in whatever you are currently working on.
Thank you. Thank you, Faith. Okay. And then we have Angel Renee has intention candles and an intention tea bag that you put in your bath. She uses aromatic herbs that help you focus on your intention. So definitely check these out. Christmas is coming. These are great gifts. Either the music from Reverend Ferry Elaine Silver, Karen Drucker, Faith's intention jars, and her bath salts, and Angel Renee's candles and tea bags. All of those are great gifts to give to somebody. So let's talk a little bit about Reverend Ferry Elaine Silver's website. She doesn't have the ability to update her website for form of payment. So she travels around the country singing, and she takes all of her CDs with her. So go to her website. It's listed on the screen, and check out the CDs. Find the one that you want, contact her by email, and she will tell you how to pay for it, and then she'll ship it out. She's very good about doing that. The other one is Karen Drucker. And Karen Drucker's website does work. You can buy it by the song, the CD, the songbook, karaoke files. All of that is available, and you can pay for it right there on the website. All of this makes really good gifts for Christmas, guys. I'm telling you, like, especially Karen Drucker's stuff. She has so many chants in the Songs of Spirit 1, 2, and 3 that if you give that to somebody, they get these memes stuck in their head. What would be a better gift than that, than to give the gift of spirituality, that they can use every day. All right. And then check out our website, www.oasiscsl.org. And there you're going to find video sermons from the last 3 years and audio sermons from all the years prior. Hang on. We are also on YouTube for the videos and SoundCloud for the audios under S. Tucker. So check all that out. Also Facebook, archives all of the sermons that we do. So anytime we've done a sermon, it stays that one. No, the one you usually do before the tithing, the offering affirmation. That's the one. I'm trying to talk to Faith through private chat, and I can't multitask when I'm speaking. It just doesn't work. Okay, here's Faith.
Oh, guys, I think we're getting a cute Christmas ad from YouTube. You are the heart. You are the hands. You are the voice of spirit on earth. And who you are. And all you do is a blessing to the world. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth. And who you are and all you do is a blessing to the world. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth. And who you are and all you do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth. And who we are and all we do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth. And who we are and all we do is a blessing to the world.
Thank you, Faith.
And I know that this blessing is who we are. It is what we are and goes with us through the week and through all time. For God's blessings are infinite and eternal and always upholding each and every one of us. For God is who and what we are. I give thanks that this is so, and I let it be. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Oz. Thank you, all of you, for being here. There's 1,000 things you could be doing on a Sunday morning, and we're blessed that you were here with us. Next week, like I said, join us at 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time. Reverend Marilyn Earhart in Florida is going to be speaking on gratitude. But join us every week at 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time. Until then, we love you. Stay safe. Have a joyous and thankful Thanksgiving. Bye.